What's up, guys? It's your boy Ace, and today is a very big day for Madden 19 because EA Play is currently underway and they just dropped their first trailer. I'm not going to really talk about the trailer because it's just a trailer, has really nothing to do with the gameplay next year. I mean, you can kind of see the animations that are going to be in the game next year, and to me, I didn't like it. It looks a little off, but it's still early. It's a work in progress. I'm not going to hold that against them right now, and you guys can just go look at that trailer for yourselves. But what we're going to be talking about is the new info that was released through the EA Game Changers program. So let's get right into it and talk about the new changes to Madden 19. Before I get into fix number one, I want to give a shout out to Madden Daily. If it wasn't for him, I would not have this information right now because he's part of the EA Game Changer program. So he got early access to the game and he compiled this list. So fix number one is going to be addressing the air truck bug. This was frustrating for a lot of people. So for those of you unaware, if sometimes when you would truck in Madden 18, the defenders would kind of get juked out in a sense. It was similar to the other specialty moves like the jukes and the spins and stuff. But Young Kiv I think actually won the Madden championship on an air truck. The game-winning touchdown at least. Was an air truck. So they did address that. And needless to say, that won't be in Madden 19. So let's get into number two. Fix number two is users no longer get faked out in the run game if you meet these two criteria. So let's talk about number one first. Your pursuit versus air skill move is less than 20 to 25 point difference. So what does that mean? If you're playing CFM and you spend a 6th-round draft pick on a 60 overall middle linebacker who has like 90 speed, but he's only got 50 pursuit. So if you're going to be using him thinking he's a user god, well, guess again, because if anybody has a 75 or above spin or juke, he's going to wreck your life in an instant, and his ankles are going to be eternally broken. So that's a pretty fair compromise they're giving back to the defense here. And really, it's if they have 99 spin move or juke, all you need is 79 pursuit or above, and you won't get juked as a user, which is fantastic. Now, the other criteria is if you hold strafe when tackling. So let's say you have that 60 overall middle linebacker. If you hold strafe when tackling, then you're not going to get faked out. And I think there's a caveat to this. I believe if you're holding strafe when tackling, you're not going to get faked out, but you can still get trucked really, really badly. So there is a counter. It's not like holding strafe is going to be the move for every single play in the run game. So these are improvements because to me the ball carrier moves were outrageous, especially at the beginning of the year last year. So to give them back to the defense here, let's get into fix number three. Fix number three is changes to coaching adjustments, which is still in the game. Many people just kind of wanted to remove coaching adjustments, but instead they have gone the route of improving it. So a couple different things with like pass rush aggressive. You can still be drawn off sides with fake snap. It's now worse against the run. And offense will now sometimes get free plays when defense goes off sides. So these are all, you're going to have pros and you're going to have cons. That's exactly how it should be. There should not be people using pass rush aggressive the entire game. It makes no sense. That's why it's called coaching adjustments. The next would be balanced pass rush. You're no longer going to go off sides, which is a big one. The next one's going to be conservative ball carrier. You're going to get an increase in carry. However, players with low carry can still fumble by a hit stick or a strip, which is fair because if you have someone with 60 carry and you put on conservative expecting him not to fumble, that's not very realistic. Now, is it? And then last, you're going to lose all special moves when you turn on conservative. So, the juke, truck, spin, steerable, etc. Fix number four is going to be catching improvements in new mid-air collision system. So I'm not going to talk about this too extensively because I'll be honest, I don't fully understand yet. Based on what Litez is saying in his video, you're going to have more time to kind of make that decision on what style catch you want to make. So you're not going to be put into an animation that you don't want to. So that's my only understanding of this. Let's move on to number five. Fix number 5 is improvements to AI play calling. And this one's pretty straightforward. Really, they're just going for a more authentic experience here. And, depending on the down and the distance and the situation, the AI is going to make better play calls. They're not going to call like a 4 verts on, a 3rd and 1. It wouldn't make any sense. So hopefully they have better logic. But that's all I know about the improvements to AI play calling. Fix number 6 is definitely the one I'm most excited for. It is changes to 91 zone defense. This is one of the things that frustrated me most in Madden 18 because it didn't make sense. Why should a 91 zone play as good as a 99? Why should a 91 zone be psychic and play every single route on the route tree? Oh, minus a select few routes that could get under it. Didn't make sense. So they made a very simple fix here. Defenders will not break on the ball when their back is turned. Well, if you think about it, in real life, is there any cornerback or safety who's psychic or has eyes on the back of his helmet? I don't think so. So, thank you. Very common sense change here. Number 2, 99 zone is the new 91 zone. So, the higher the zone, the more chance you break on the ball immediately. That's exactly what you want. And so they're keeping the 91 zone feature kind of in the game, but they're making it more incremental and probability based, which makes sense. I have no problem with 91 zone, quote unquote, threshold being in the game as long as it's done in a common sense way. And one of the biggest things is defenders will not break on the ball when their back is turned, because that makes absolutely no sense. Also, defenders with zones in the 80s now have a chance to break on the ball like a 99 zone, but less likely. We'll have to see how likely that is when we get our hands on the game. We don't have, the code at our disposal to actually break down the probability. But it's nice to see that you can have a 85 zone player play like a stud every once in a while. That's how it should be, because that's how it works in the NFL. There's going to be a cornerback who's not Deion Sanders who makes an amazing play like Deion Sanders every once in a while. So I love the changes here. Let's move on to number 7. Fix number 7 is going to be a quick one, and that's improvement of the mid-read. And it just played too shallow last year. You couldn't really rely on a computer defender to play much of anything except for like drags for a second. It was just too shallow, but now it gets more depth and it can defend the seam better. So defend the seam, pass it off to the safety. It's going to just play better overall, hopefully. Once we get our hands on it, we'll find out very quickly. So let's get into number 8. Fix number 8 really isn't a fix. I'm not sure why he included this as a fix. It's kind of an addition. But it's going to be a new formation, and it's going to be in every single defensive playbook, and it's the 4-2-5, big nickel over G. And what that means is it's a 3 safety, 4 defensive line, 2 linebacker set. It's going to be more stout against the run because as opposed to a slot corner, you're going to have a slot safety. You just get a little bit more size out there. It's kind of the in-between between a linebacker and a slot corner. But like I said, that's going to be in every defensive playbook because it's so common in the NFL right now. You're in subsets way more often than you are in base sets. So that's it for 8. Let's get into 9. Fix number 9 is improvements to match coverage, which is pretty interesting because we get a lot more logic with our zones. The coverage it goes over is cover 4 match. There's also going to be cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms. Palms is just another way to play cover 4. You kind of read the number 2 receiver, I believe, and you play differently based on what he's doing. So if you play shallow, I believe you play shallow. If you play deep, you play deep. I'll get into that more once the game comes around so I can actually see how it works properly. Cover 4 drop is cover 4 without match principles, which is what we're accustomed to. The other thing is new logic and special rules to address compress and bunch, which is, oh my God, this is so needed. It talks right here about corner routes get matched by outside quarter deep blue versus bunch. So corner strike, one of the most popular plays in the game for the past 2 years, is probably going to get stuffed now, if this is correct and they have actually labbed it themselves to improve it and fix it. The outside quarter is not going to get beat by that corner anymore because he's going to actually match up, man up on that corner. So those are really good improvements. Let's get into the last one. Fix number 10, protect the sticks, now works. We can all breathe a sigh of relief here because many of us would rather have been in a 4th and 5 as opposed to a 4th and 20 last year because those smart routed out routes and in routes, and they got over pretty much every single zone. But now, the hooks and the flat zones are going to drop to the first down marker and make plays if they try to do something like that. So much needed fix here. And that rounds out everything. I'm going to try to keep you guys updated on everything I see online or anything that EA releases. And until I find out more information, that's it for the video. Please drop a like and subscribe for more Madden 19 content, and I will see you guys later.